Oh, I did. What did you say they had good cheesesteak? Zorch's?
Stanley's. Oh, Zorch has a good cheesesteak.
That's what it was. Yeah. Because I stopped and had pizza.
That was not downtown. They don't do cheesesteaks downtown, south side.
It's the one off of
Forest Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. But have you been to Stanley's?
I have not. Where is that?
Downtown.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
So it's Philadelphia style. So Cooper sharp cheddar, blended all in there, pull apart the cheese.
My goodness.
All blended in.
No,
they got some stuff on it that I don't do, but cherry peppers and stuff and they've got the seeded bread. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah.
Never do a podcast before you've eaten.
I was like, don't go to the grocery store hungry, right? That's exactly right.
Hello. People are like, oh, did I turn up my volume too? No, your volume is at the right level that it should be.
Right.
This is the angry part. This is the Cory has not eaten.
We just realized
we're going to rattle off these things quickly. That's the podcast we're doing.
We started talking about food and we realized that we didn't have any.
Yes, I got to think about these things such as lunch. I wish I had time to go down to the place we were talking about. Well, folks, you've come to the right place. If you're looking to grow your business, you have arrived at the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. I'm joined by give me a new name. I need to find something like Smooth Daddy. Smooth Daddy. LG007 Lon Graham is here. Voice of reason.
It's good to be here.
That's right. Yes. Good to have you. And of course, he's doing well. 147 into the podcast. Willie H is here.
Hit the buttons, William.
Behind the boards. Well, folks, you've come to the place to grow your business. Certainly, as we say, not here to be your gurus, but we want to share some information, tactics, strategies that might work for you, that we think if you implement them will help you grow your business. This is based on our 5 pillars philosophy that all business growth challenges can be dealt with once you identify the pillar. You identify, isolate, and attack. And that's mindset, sales, marketing, operations, or people. Any challenges you're having fall in one of those categories. I expound on this further in my latest book, Positioned for Growth, now available on Amazon. Shipping now. Still doing well. Got an event coming up. We're going to bless a few hundred people with some copies.
Well, with some knowledge.
There
you go.
So we like to sell them in bulk.
That's right.
If you want to give the right, it's holiday season. So the gift that keeps on giving, give the gift of business growth to your entrepreneur friends and family.
Indeed.
Visit CoryMosley.com, hit the contact button, and let's place a bulk order.
Let's sell some boxes.
Yeah, let's sell some boxes. That's what I'm talking about. I like when I can just ship them. I don't want to come in, unpack them, and reship them. I want the box order just to go straight from the publisher directly to you.
Indeed. That's exactly right. That's awesome.
Well, we're super excited to have you here. We've got another great show. And the fact of the matter is that, I don't want to sound redundant, because everybody's overrun with, AI conversation. And today, though, under our operations category, last week we talked about people.
Sure.
Under our operations pillar, I should say not category, under the operations pillar, I want to talk about AI potentially in a different way than has been previously discussed. More so the evolution.
Okay.
Because I think, the early stage conversations are different than what they are today. So we're going to talk about how small businesses are using AI right now to cut costs, save time, and boost profits.
Sounds good.
Because a lot of people, I think, have gone and tried to check the box a little bit to say they're doing AI or say, and of course it's a brilliant piece of technology and opportunity that will, revolutionize what we do, and is revolutionizing what we do. But there's so many ways to use it.
Correct.
And I think people get overwhelmed. I think people get confused. I think because there will always be a way to do more. Oh no, Cory, you're not doing, and we shame people now.
Right.
There's like AI shaming going on.
Correct.
Oh, you're not using Claude. You're just using ChatGPT.
Right.
You don't have your custom chatbot named Mira.
Right.
Mine's got a name.
That's good.
You're not training it properly. Like, what do you mean you don't know how to, you're not a prompt engineer overnight?
Right. Exactly.
So I think it's and we use it every day, but I'm scratching the surface.
Correct.
With the point being, I'm using it to the level that it serves me and allows me to accelerate and do certain things. Yes, there's more to do.
Correct.
But it's always about ultimately what does the environment look like for you, and when are you ready to take that next step?
Right.
So we're gonna dig into that piece uniquely. So if you've been wondering, what are some modern ways it's being done, even some services, some popular companies or apps, we're gonna talk about that all today.
Sounds good.
And AI isn't coming for your business.
Right.
It's coming to your business.
Yeah, well said.
And I think was I going to get something? Woo. All right. I like it. The question is, will you use it to grow or get left behind?
Right.
Even when they talk about the jobs that AI is replacing, the reality of it is we're not 100% there yet.
Right.
Taco Bell just had a big epic fail. Using AI that was going to solve, like, make the line more efficient.
Correct.
And the thing was just,
didn't work.
You ordered a gordita and you got a burrita. You know what I mean? So it was causing more trouble. So it still has a way to go. It still needs to be refined. But also, the big conversation is how to use it, not if you're going to use it. And I don't want to be replaced. So how can I lead? It's like, oh, Cory, people won't need coaching anymore. AI can coach them on what to do. AI can, people won't need consultants. AI can be their consultant. And the fact of the matter is that, there's some good frameworks and some good elements. And remember, AI pulls from sources that's available to them.
Correct.
So if it's got bad information, it's passing that information through to you.
Right.
So I don't have a fear of, if you want AI to work on strategy for you, God love you.
Right.
Go for it. If you want to live, because, great. Who are you going to hold accountable? ChatGPT when that thing doesn't work?
Right.
Because also it can give strategies, of course. Is it the right strategy for your business?
Right. Right.
And that all comes down to how you prompt it, the questions you're asking it.
Right.
Ask broad questions, get broad answers.
Right.
And then you go, oh, this thing didn't work for me. Well, how did you use it? You just said, help me grow my business. Right. What should I do?
What should I do next? Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's part of it. And, we want to be, real simple and think about this from a profitability standpoint, when it comes to that. So we're going to hop into a couple of these things and kind of go through it in our style that we always generally like to do. So maybe we'll jump in. Let's talk about the sponsor first before we get into the list.
We should talk about the sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Pecan Jack's Ice Cream and Candy Kitchen franchise, where fun meets serious profit. With an average unit volume of $960,193.38.
Don't forget the 38.
This is a franchise that proves you can build wealth doing something people love. Learn more at pecanjacksfranchise.com and see if there's a sweet spot open in your market.
I love that. And, it's always an opportunity to expand. I've become really, the more I engage in the franchise business, there's really something special and unique about it, because I've spent most of my career creating businesses from concept, right?
Correct.
And working with small business owners who've created their own concept.
Correct.
And watching the challenges associated with that. So it's almost like a light bulb now, being in the franchise world. It's like a light bulb of like, why would I want to start Cory's ice cream parlor and learn all this from scratch and try to figure this all out from scratch when I can come into systems? Why would I want to start a home cleaning business when I can, when I can buy into one or take from people who've already perfected these systems? So, folks, if you're out here running your own business now, also this is also a portfolio piece. Correct. So you may have your primary business.
Right.
We've got people that are State Farm agents that now own ice cream shops.
Right.
So they didn't leave their State Farm business. They they spent 20 years building their book of business, but they want to diversify their portfolio.
Right.
So it's not always about, following your dream and quitting your job. This is also a portfolio piece that, should be considered.
Yeah. And the franchise, I think about, we talk about like lanes, right? The franchise is like the toll lane. You pay a little bit for it, but you get you move a lot faster, and you're not stuck in traffic and congestion and all that. All those things have been done for you. And so you're getting to where you want to be much quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So thanks. Shout out to Pecan Jack's Ice Cream and Candy Kitchen. All right, let's get into segment 1. AI as the great equalizer.
Okay.
And looking at it that way. Looking at AI in terms of being able to level the playing field, particularly small business owners who are competing against bigger players.
Okay.
Right? When you think about marketing, brand, I need a big agency. No, you don't.
Right.
I need all these executors. I mean, I think just a short time, I've been in the game long enough to think about when I was out hiring freelancers to run Facebook ads or to do these kinds of things. And you had Joe who worked at Facebook.
Right.
He even had the t-shirt on.
Right. Exactly.
And great, I'm hiring, this guy and hoping he knows what he's doing.
Right.
Right. And now you're counting on, the copy and how it's set up and these different things. Now you've got, the software that is doing this for you. Not only that, people like Meta and Meta/Facebook, same thing, have basically said, hey, we've got the technology now to do this. So you don't even need the middleman. Right. We can run the algorithm. We own the algorithm, so we can run the algorithm. We can tell you where to place. We can let us tell you who to serve your ads to. You don't even have to get the targeting right anymore to be effective. So it's a very interesting dynamic there. But really looking at how you can equalize, you don't need a tech degree or a big budget anymore when you look at some of the AI tools that are plug and play.
Yeah, and you can use it. Look, I think for small business owners, where AI in this situation is the most effective is you have a business because you have a very specific skill set. Some of the technology probably isn't your skill set.
Right.
And so this is a way to utilize ideas that are available, utilize AI to pull together this information, program it, and say, this is what I need. The key, though, is you have to know what you're trying to accomplish. That doesn't change. So if you know what you're trying to accomplish, you can program it to use it and not have to go out and hire somebody, and not have to go out and hire an agency, at least in the beginning.
Right. Maybe this guy can help. I was like, oh, he's done.
He's hungry too.
He left it there.
He's hungry too.
Now, what are these examples? So we talked about marketing agency, right? So, a local marketing agency now uses ChatGPT to write drafts and proposals, and their social media posts, which cuts their creative time in half, which they can do more. So you don't have to, agencies still work. There's still a place for them. Now they have an opportunity to be more efficient. And that efficiency could be overhead reduction or scale.
Correct.
The ability to keep your team in place, but take on more clients than you normally could.
Right.
So like you want to have that perspective. And an e-commerce shop that is using, AI chatbots to handle FAQs and track shipments. We do this now with a moving company.
Okay.
Like that's unheard of, and have a knowledge base. I mean, that's such an that business is still such an arcane business in terms of getting a quote and doing those things, or even just asking repetitive questions, tying up the phone lines. Most moving companies' phone lines are terrible, because they're not built for call center activity. It's Joe answering the phone in between doing X, Y, Z. So that creates an opportunity for the experience not to be as good.
Right.
But now you can, the chatbot can answer 90% of the question. Or the call tree, the AI call tree can answer it. Oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Great. Let me answer that for you. And it's getting better and better, right? The voice language, all of those things. So, using that, tracking shipments. Hey, I'm calling to see where my package is. Great. Give me your name. The AI is doing the work to do that. So it really frees up a lot of hours in terms of customer service time. So,
well, and in a small business like you talked about, like let's say the moving company that we're talking about, you got somebody doing payroll and answering the phones. Well, every time they got to pick up the phone, payroll
Somebody missed a digit.
Somebody missed a digit, or you got to go back and you got to do the 15 minutes to get back to where you were when you picked up the phone.
Yeah,
so,
that $12.50 a week, one keystroke becomes $125.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that bad. For sure. So, one of the ways to look at this is if you're not using an AI assistant, adopt one. Adopt one AI assistant tool. And you could look at that also by department. So how do you apply that to marketing? How do you apply that to administration? What can you plug into customer service? And then, there's still people involved. So training your team to use it efficiently. It's not the AI's here. It's taking over this. Have a nice day. You have to know still how to use it, how to troubleshoot it, how to maximize it. What are the downsides? What are the things that you need to account for?
Right.
So just imagine if Taco Bell had gotten rid of the people at the drive-thru completely.
Correct.
And just given it to the AI. And now you have the mistake. So when the mistakes happen, people need to step in. But they can only step in if they know what they're dealing with.
Yeah. Well, and so I think of it like, for people that, studied history and manufacturing and the production line, right? I mean, the production line simplifies the work.
Right.
And it reproduces it. Still not 100% perfect. You still need people to monitor it. You still need people to make sure that things are coming out the way you want them to come out. So like you talked about, having people understand how to use it and what you want to accomplish with it, and then monitor it.
Right.
And then it allows you, as you get better at it, allows you to use it for scale and some of the other things that you talked about.
100%.
Stop ignoring channels you don't understand.
Oh, we got a new one.
I like it.
No, it's good. All right. Number 2. Reducing costs with automation.
Yes.
So AI can eliminate repetitive, low-value tasks that drain payroll hours. I can think about right now the woman who used to come to my office, and whip out the QuickBooks, and start doing the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that.
Sure.
She was in a whole office for her.
Right.
And you forwarded emails, you printed out PDFs, you dropped the receipts on the desk.
Right.
And that's what she's coming in to do. That was a whole job, like a whole job that I had payroll, expense, overhead for.
Yes.
Now I have a technology company that, pulls in the statements, pulls in the transactions in real time.
Correct.
If I go to lunch today and I swipe, when I come back to the office, that's sitting on my ledger, and 99% has been auto-categorized.
Correct.
And is reconciled, and I'm done.
Right.
And that wasn't that long ago in terms of, in terms of having that done. So again, replacement jobs. Well, it's not perfect. So now could I reallocate? Could this person not be out of a job?
Right.
But could she have been working for me one day a week?
Right.
Could she been virtual? Could she been staying home and reviewing the books?
Right. Assessing it.
Right. Could she start a business at scale as an AI bookkeeper?
Correct.
That, is your quality control, not your labor.
Correct.
So again, tools and QuickBooks has gotten smart. They've got QuickBooks AI now. You've got companies like Pilot or Kick, which is a company that we use, to categorize the expenses, predict cash flow. Again, customer service. So your chatbots, services like Intercom AI, Zendesk, that can handle basic inquiries that normally would have bogged down your phone. Because again, that exposes customer experience.
Right.
If I can't answer the phone, what does that look like in the customer experience?
Correct.
Oh, I don't want to leave a voice. Somebody left me a voicemail. Now I've got to get back to them.
Right.
When I could have just had some basic software in place to engage that.
Yeah, and especially, the things you can't do is you can't replace time. And so what this does is if you use AI to assess what you're taking in, and then create a solution so that people can get immediate responses for that, and you have somebody monitor it, and then you give them an opportunity to do more creative work. You give them an opportunity maybe to do outreach.
Right.
Maybe that becomes part of your sales capacity so that you can generate more revenue. And you have them, like you talked about, the person who's doing the bookkeeping, They do one day a week. They do the analysis for you, make sure everything looks good.
Right.
And then they could do some, if they have their own business, they could do some outreach to grow their business. So it gives you lots of, it comes down to you can't replace time. So if you can reduce the time it takes to do something, it frees up time to do other things.
You know, another big thing now is scheduling and administration or admin. So tools like Motion or a company called Reclaim AI that auto schedule meetings and optimize daily productivity. I mean, I can't tell you, like, now, again, this is all, you're smiling already, but because this is all practical application for work, what works for you.
Correct.
I'm sure I'm missing the boat, but I don't think my ADHD I don't think my brain works with some of this.
Right.
Like, I've looked at the scheduling things and I know people who use them and who live by some of these things, but like, first off, I don't want my day planned to the minute.
Right.
Where just everything's slotted in. And again, there's going to be people, there's people who are way more productive than me. I'm sure I could be way more productive if I was more regimented about these things. But I also battle, being a creative.
Well, that's
so not having so like if I'm, I got to do a million Zooms like everybody else, with clients and meetings and turning, all these different things. But I need creative space.
Right.
So I think it's very important in the context of what we're saying is we're talking about ways that these things can happen, reducing cost, like the topic. It's not a checklist of everything you need to go do.
Right.
Because it has to fit.
Well, I mean, it's a tool, right? And the hammer is a tool that works to pound nails.
Right.
A saw is a tool that works to cut wood or cut concrete or whatever it is that you're cutting.
Yeah, saw stuff.
They're all tools, and they don't all do the same thing, and they're not all intended for the same thing. This is a tool.
Right, sure.
And you've got to figure out how you can use this tool effectively for your business.
Right. And I want this to more be like aha moments. Like,
correct.
Oh, I never thought about using AI to manage my schedule.
Right. Correct.
Right. Or to make me more productive. Or I never realized that, hey, I'm still paying $700 a month to a bookkeeper or something like that. I didn't know for $299 I could do that and then just, have that package up to my CPA.
Correct.
Right. Or I'm paying my CPA office staff extra money to do my books, and then they're balancing the book, then they're doing the accounting from a perspective of, taxes.
Right.
So maybe I can take that off their hands and I'll just give them the package at the end of the month to save myself. So I think it's that kind of thought process
100%.
of the aha, like how am I doing this and would this be helpful to me?
Yeah. So what are some things that I'm doing that are consuming time,
right?
Consuming energy, consuming resources.
Like, how are you a professional services company that doesn't have automated like appointment scheduling or confirmations or those type of things?
Right.
We just recently looked at a company that saved $18,000 a year in missed appointments and admin time by instituting, this. So, I mean, I don't get it. And it's not that this is not an enterprise purchase.
Right.
You don't need to call Oracle and have them build you $1 million system.
Right.
Many of these tools are free if you're using other things like Square.
Yeah.
If you're processing through them and using their base services, they have calendars, they have online scheduling, they have these things, and they're bolt-ons. So $10, $15, $25, like to really build the suite because they're focused on scale.
Correct.
So how do you not have an online scheduler?
Right.
I mean, Calendly is $12.
Right.
Or whatever.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
So, like, just as a convenience factor, you know how many emails you shorten? Going, hey, what are some good days and times that are good for you? What are some days and times that are good for you? Can't do Tuesday. Can you do Wednesday? What is a good time for you? Like, come on.
Right. Right.
Like, make it simple.
To your point, too, Cory, some of these people that are creative or that have creative capacity will look at that like, well, I don't want to give that up. Well, you can pick which times are available.
Correct.
Right. I mean, you
set your schedule.
Like,
you can't book a meeting with me on Monday.
Right.
Like, from an automated standpoint.
Correct.
That's all personal decision.
Right.
So it's But again, you got to know what's available, there or know to use it. Also, let's not act like stuff is fire. I've got an online scheduler.
Right.
You don't say. What is that? Tell me more. People we're spending so much time behind, and then all of a sudden, they have their breakthrough.
Right. That's exactly right.
And it's like, you can use my online scheduler.
There you go. Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
You are at the front of the learning curve.
Well, there
all
we
right.
go.
So, what's a recommendation here when it comes to this automation piece? Well, I would tell you to audit your team's weekly tasks and see if you can find 3 areas where automation could, save you 2 hours or more per week per person.
Correct.
That's big in terms of productivity.
Yeah.
Right? And as a business owner, it shifts the classic in the business on the business dynamic, which we're all after, in terms of being able to pay attention in the peripherals, as they like to say. All right. Number 3, increasing profit with smarter marketing.
Okay.
So, of course, how people are using AI tools now to better target, to convert faster, also to reduce ad waste.
Okay.
One of the most painful things is spending money on advertising.
Right.
And having to operate under the, we've got to try it, we've got to tweak it, we've got to do that. And we work with a lot of agencies. Good buddy of mine, obviously, as an agency that we refer a lot of clients to. But I'm just like, man, you've got the greatest hustle on earth. Because your answer to everything is, well, we're going to have to spend some money to try it out and tweak it and work on it. Yeah, but it's my money.
Right.
And it's just a painful, even in businesses that, I don't own 100%, but I'm involved. I may be an equity holder, but I have some executive capacity where I'm working with them. And I have budget. I have power to spend money.
Right.
It's just painful.
Yes.
It really is. It's not like a big corporation where it's like, it's not your, you've got a $2 million budget to do X and it's not your money.
Right.
But there's just something more personal the closer you get to the situation where you feel responsible in a completely different. I mean, I've watched people at the corporate level. I've worked with some clients that have just done everything they can to waste that company's money.
Mm.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do this trip. We're gonna do this outing. Just put it on the invoice and I'll approve it. Like to enrich themselves. And I'm not. This is a judgment-free zone, dude.
Right.
Okay?
That's exactly right.
Because I've got stories. So like everybody else, but. When it's your dollars, and even at that P&L responsibility level, it's like, oh, God. So really anything that we can do, and that you can do to optimize that. Right. And now, like I said, Meta, even Meta Advantage Plus or Google Performance Max, these are tools that they've taken all the billions of pieces of code and information that they have. Because again, it doesn't behoove them to just take your money and not give you any results.
Correct.
So, I mean, they have an interest in making you successful.
Right.
Because you'll spend, the fastest way to get me to spend 20,000 is to give me ROI on 10.
Correct.
Right? The fastest way to get me to spend 100 is to give me ROI on 50.
Right.
So you have these.
Price. It's not today's price.
There you go. So now you've got AI copywriters. You've got companies like Jasper and Copy.ai that allow you to A/B test. So yes, marketing can be an experiment, but now you've got these low cost tools that help you get your stride going faster.
Yeah, and if you think about it, use a flashlight example, right? You got a flashlight, and if you got it open all the way up, it's a big, wide, bright light that illuminates. And as you tighten that up, you tighten the light down, it gets more focused. The reason I'm comparing it to that is what this AI allows you, what these forms of AI allow you to do is to tighten that light up a little bit so you're not trying to reach the periphery that doesn't really matter. You're a more focused advertising, more focused marketing. And even if your open rate or your impact rate is 20%, they can double it. That's 40%.
Right.
And so you're tightening that light up and making more focus.
This might be a guy I want to work with. There you go. The other thing to look at is how AI can impact and create predictive analytics.
Yeah.
Some things that will allow you to upsell, some things that will allow you to cross-sell,
Yes.
using customer patterns, some things that you wouldn't know, like off the cuff to do.
Correct.
Right. To have it flag it. And you see this in e-commerce. The big wave was the add-on, piece, or the 2-step upsell.
Right.
But now it's like, hey, go on my database and go, tell me everybody who owns X that should need Y, or
Correct.
I'm releasing a new product. I'm going to release a new product. Now, I might normally do outreach to my current customer base about the new product at a wide method. Like I might go wide, where there may be people it's just not relevant to, right? So if I'm going to if Pecan Jacks is going to release a new, sugar-free flavor,
right?
Well, I might want to talk, if I had a way to first go to people who have purchased sugar-free products from us before,
right?
That's a lower cost messaging.
Yes.
Than just going wide and saying, hey, we've got a new sugar-free
all
flavor.
Of our clients, right?
Correct. So if I was holding a database of sugar-free, gluten-free, diabetes-friendly, whatever,
right?
If I was doing that, I think I get a higher ROI faster.
Correct.
Right? Or get the low-hanging fruit before I have to go wide.
Well, and you introduced a new flavor directly to that population, and then there's a benefit add-on. So maybe there's a sugar-free brittle, or maybe there's a sugar-free candy that's associated with it, or a flavor that's a similar flavor.
Right.
So you can, by predicting who you're targeting, then you can look at what they are likely to buy in addition to that.
Right. Right. And ultimately I want you to feel like you're talking to me.
Yeah.
And like you have to have metrics somewhere, like, Fabletics, a well-known lifestyle. I don't know what is it? Athletic brand, casual,
They're
athletic, whatever it is.
Athletics.
But so my wife and I both have these memberships, you can skip the memberships or whatever. But how Fabletics, I don't know why Fabletics sends me female stuff.
Right.
Then you make the argument, but my wife's a member.
Okay.
And they have to know, they've got name, address information in the system.
Right.
Right. So their data should tell them this is the same household or whatever. But they don't serve me female and men. They just serve me like female stuff. So how do you don't know I'm a male? I mean, you have my shopping history.
Right.
So that to me just seems like a way, like the more personalized it feels.
Correct.
From my perspective, the more apt I am to want to continue to buy. Not so much. So here's the thing. Don't look at this from the practicality of me continuing to be a customer. I'm going to continue to be a customer.
Right.
But the reason why you're sending me these emails is you're trying to incite me to make a purchase decision now.
Correct.
So showing me the latest sports bras is not a way to make me make a decision now.
Yeah. And what, if you flip it and on the recipient side of it, like if you're sending information out to your customers, if you think about, well, if you're the person receiving that information, what appeals to you and how would you want that information to navigate to you,
right,
and impact you? And so like you talk about, it's not that they're worried about you being a client or a customer. They want you to buy more, and they're offering you products that get introduced or get reintroduced based on the season.
Right.
Well, if those aren't your products, you're not going to buy more.
Right.
And so what we're talking about here is how do you use that information that you have to be more effective in attracting,
and deploy the AI.
Correct.
To figure, to look at that.
To reach them and then add to, and get them to add to not just what you're sending them, but well, this is also, there's a shoe company that I've bought tennis shoes from before, and they'll say, well, what goes with this? What shorts or what outfit goes with running or what goes with
the worst you can say is no.
Correct.
Right.
And I'm not going to stop getting stuff from them because about every couple of months I'm buying a new pair of shoes or whatever.
Right.
So they're going to keep sending me things. Eventually it adds up.
100%. So, using AI to test, test one marketing assumption,
Right.
this month in terms of practical application,
Right.
such as which offer, tone, or audience performance test, and then let the data guide your next move, not just the gut, So, all right. So like we talked about, I've been throwing out some names, but here are some tools that maybe you want to try. So, because you don't need enterprise, again, and go back, you don't need enterprise level. You don't need Salesforce.com's suite.
Right.
And even they have entry level products now because they know.
Right.
But, they built their business at enterprise and then came down.
Correct.
Some people do it reverse. But, if you're thinking about content creation, so of course you've got the obvious ones like ChatGPT. You've got alternatives like Claude, also deeper, more specific things like Jasper. So these things will help you write better, brainstorm marketing ideas. On the graphic side of things, of course, the major juggernaut is Canva. You've got Canva Magic Studio, which is, has a great DIY element, but there are great freelancers who really can go deep into that. And really it puts them in the game.
Right.
You don't need to have gone to Parsons to, you really can be self-taught and you don't need to know Adobe. I mean, for years, Adobe was the game.
That was it.
And if you didn't know Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, like you were behind, like you were in trouble.
Correct.
At scale, really producing high quality work.
Right.
Now with Canva, you get auto generated ad graphics, social posts, like all that can be done within that wheelhouse for limited. I think I spend a couple $100 a year for the whole team.
Okay.
To have access to it. So, video, there's new people popping up every day, but your popular ones like Opus and Descript help you, the clips and stuff that we put out. These are the services that we're using. And then of course on the data side, QuickBooks, AI, Fathom, Kick, these are, our cash flow forecasting tools. And also you're looking for data, anomaly data, things that may be outliers or things that may be trends.
Correct.
So you can make better decisions ultimately. And then on the sales and CRM side, you've got your usual suspects like a HubSpot, but you've got Go High Level or High Level, they're called now, which we use in several of our businesses as well as HubSpot.
Right.
Where you can start to build and again, you've got resources that can step in for a few $100 and put these pieces in place for you to, automate your follow-ups, have your emails, text. All of these things really are available. And there's people who have created the expertise to do it. So I would just encourage you to look at any number of these tools that we talked about. Pick one. Don't overwhelm yourself and go out on a buying spree.
Correct.
Now you've got 30-day trials going. Pick one AI tool, test it for 30 days, look at the ROI. And that ROI can be, hours saved, sales gain. There's a lot of different ways to look at ROI in that capacity.
One of the things that we talked about sort of, and I think it's worth we're talking about now is if you're thinking about adding a component to your business, or if you're thinking about, well, maybe I should add a service or I should add a product, you can use AI as your test case.
Right.
You can do that. I'm a big fan of Jim Collins' books. He talks about firing bullets and then cannonballs. You can use AI to fire your bullets and see if those hit anything.
Yep.
Reach out to potential clients or customers in the market that you want to test out.
That's right.
Create a profile or a program for your existing customers and say, hey, is this something? And you can use AI to shape that information and to target, and you can use the data that you already have to help you develop a way to target it.
Right.
So it's a way not only to make what you're already doing more efficient and more effective and grab some of that time, it's also a way to test an idea to say, here's something I think would be great to add to my business,
right? And
then use it as a test case.
Voice of reason. There you go. There you go. Well, speaking of test cases, one of the things I love about our sponsor is that not only is part of their growth strategy, they operate, company-owned stores. So when you start talking about testing stuff, so we're talking about flavors, we're starting talking about new products, really having that customer base or a new strategy, even something as simple as how people move through the line. Yeah. And tracking that. Are there efficiency, the two-step checkout versus everybody comes to one line.
Right.
That efficiency piece is so important. And that's one of the things that, you find inside the franchise environment.
Well, and so before we wrap, let's give a quick thank you to our sponsor, Pecan Jack's Ice Cream and Candy Kitchen franchise, serving up smiles and strong returns with an average unit volume of $960,193.38. If you're ready to add a high-performing, family-friendly franchise to your business portfolio, visit pecanjacksfranchise.com and start your journey today.
Yeah, I love that. All right, number 5, the mindset shift. So, AI won't replace entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs who use AI will replace those who don't.
Yes.
Nothing.
Let the church say amen.
I mean, it's almost like I gotta give you a script. I gotta give you a show script notes so you know in advance. There is no rest of it. That's it. Boom. So, think of AI as a junior team member.
Yeah.
But one that's available 24/7.
Correct.
And never complains.
Right.
Now, the internet may go to call out sick, right? The internet goes down. Sometimes the systems get a little wonky, but by and large, it's not going on vacation.
Correct.
Right.
It's working when you're not.
Yeah, exactly. You have people rolling in in passing, I'm going on vacation,
Right.
People just tell you in the passing, like there's not formal procedures
right
for vacation. It's like, oh, by the way. So, by the way.
Right. There is no by the way. That's for sure.
AI wouldn't do that to me.
Correct. Correct.
So, don't fear it. Train it. Teach it your brand voice.
Yeah.
Your values, your processes.
Right.
And you may need to invest to learn how to do that.
Yes. Yeah. One at a time. One thing at a time.
Right. Emphasize the opportunity. In terms of understanding it. Small business owners who move. As much as we've been talking about AI for this past time, it's still early.
Oh, yeah.
There's still opportunity to move on it and adopt it.
Yes.
And capture your ability to dominate or lead or get ahead in 2026.
Right.
So start small, one AI tool at a time.
Yes.
Focus on saving time, not necessarily replacing people. That's not the place to jump to.
Right.
Measure your ROI in efficiency and growth, not hype. It's like when I talk to the marketing guys, they're like, "Oh, we had 70 billion impressions." Yeah, I needed how many leads?
Right. Exactly.
What converted?
Right.
We had a billion conversions. Okay, what do we sell? What's the revenue?
Right. Exactly.
I'm not getting excited about the clicks.
Right.
We blew it out the park. Who?
Right. Exactly.
There's the revenue. I need to know that the revenue number is there, not just the excitement of, I'm using XYZ now. And
right. Well, run it through. I call it your success filter. Right. Run it through your success filter. Is using this going to get me closer to success in the way that I define it?
Right.
This might be a guy I want.
Yeah, I like it. In fact, it might be. It might be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think we're going to leave it there.
I think we've given some good ideas and some practical next steps.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely a lot to think about.
Correct.
For you, we want to keep you abreast, and we're going to continue to cover this.
Right.
Cover AI because it's not going anywhere, but again, keep it modern.
Right.
Right. Modernize it. If there are apps and these things that are coming up every day that are making a difference, we're gonna try to make sure you know about them. Yep. So you have not for overload, but for options.
Correct. So you have understanding and
yeah.
And options, absolutely.
Yeah, and for those of you, I would encourage you to go back and listen to some of our previous episodes on this topic. Start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Or episode 6, whatever you prefer. He's got really good after that. Oopsies. All right, folks. That's going to do it for us today. We certainly appreciate you listen. Oh, that's your part. Go ahead.
For those of you that have been listening, thank you for coming back. You'll get the episode 6 reference. So thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back. And next time, bring a friend.
That's right, for sure. That's going to do it for today. On behalf of myself, where are we? This has been another episode of the Grow Business Podcast. On behalf of myself, Logram, LG007, and Willie H. We thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. Willie H., take us out.
Oh, no mercy.
Inside jokes.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good.
Inside the inside.
Indeed. Oh, that's so good.
You gotta love it.
Good stuff. Lots of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, good.